Well, Andre, first of all, I appreciate your time as always.
Yep.
You talk a little bit about the big event coming up this Friday, the 50th anniversary. Obviously,
It's actually Saturday.
70, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if you talk about the event.
Okay, so what we have coming up on March the 29th, National Vietnam Veterans Day, national holiday. The American Legion and VFW in Franklin County, specifically in the Rocky Mount area, will be hosting at noon a program, a 1-hour program in recognition of Vietnam veterans at the Rocky Mount, Franklin County Veterans Memorial Park. So that'll be happening at 12 noon. And right after that presentation, we will be doing a dinner at American Legion Post 6, sponsored by American Legion Post 111, in honor of the Vietnam veterans, and we hope that we can get out not only Vietnam veterans, but their friends and family to come up to the post and have a dinner with us. And we have a little surprise. We're also going to have some people from the benefits who are certified benefit facilitators who will be there, who will just talk to them about how they can get their benefits if they haven't already done that. So that's the gist of the program.
You talk about Saturday and just, the remembrance of Vietnam. Because obviously, if you look at all the conflicts and wars we've had, the one that probably obviously gets the most stigmatism when it comes to military members who serve is Vietnam. And just the fact that they don't get these honors. How big and important are events like this for Vietnam veterans?
One of the things that I was thinking about this morning, to try to give people an idea of how important it is. They may not realize it, but the last number that I got was we have 19 suicides every day of veterans. And that's most of those veterans, because all of our World War I, World War II, those veterans are already pretty much gone. So all we have left are Korean and Vietnam, but the most of those veterans are Vietnam veterans. So with that kind of going on, you kind of know something is not quite right, that we have 19 veterans every day committing suicide. So how important is this to recognize? I think it's pretty important, because we are trying to bring out some of these veterans into the community and help them catch the idea that we served our country to keep it safe and away from harm. But when we came back to live here, many of us had to face all kinds of things going on in our society, and so there's still issues that they have to deal with. So everything that we do like this, not only this time of year, but all through the year that we do for veterans, helps to lift some of these people, and we really have not as a country decided to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to prevent all these suicides of our veterans who have served this country. So,
you mentioned, obviously just the stigma and everything. You mentioned just the treatment, but will you overall, first of all, how long has this been going on, like this event?
Well, I think the national recognition for Vietnam veterans, it's only about 3 years old. So it really hasn't gotten many legs. I mean, because 3 years ago when it first came out, I think it happened. I'm not sure I saw a single report in the news. I think the national media might have, glanced over it, but no real recognition. And the president of the oil company knew, because I called him. And I said, do you have any programs today on the Vietnam Veterans, National Day? He said, you know what? I don't think we do. But it was everywhere. We got really no recognition. So it's getting a little bit better, and I know you guys have helped us out for the last couple of years. I'm doing everything I can to try to push it locally. I have sent out a press release to all the media. I kind of keep a little media list. I actually sent it out nationally too. I keep a national media list too. And I sent out a press release. Please give us this year a little recognition for the day. You know, we know that with the way things are going now, there's all kinds of other things going on in our society. So, but we need this recognition because we have clearly a lot of veterans who need help. And this is just one thing we can do to help them.
What do you, I mean, you being a Vietnam vet, and like my dad was a Vietnam vet, and you know, a lot of veterans, it's hard for them to talk about Vietnam because of everything that went on over there, and which is understandable. But I guess this is kind of a two-part question. From your perspective, being a Vietnam vet, what do you feel, what would help a veteran to just maybe talk about? Because again, it's so painful for them. What do you feel, you being a Vietnam vet, or what can be done to help veterans maybe just talk about getting their feelings and their emotions out about being in Vietnam and then the treatment they got coming back?
Well, one of the things that I am fortunate to have experienced is I kind of understood what was going on around me, and so I don't feel like I came back with any disabilities. But I also had a job where I wasn't connected directly with the violence of war. People do not have a clue how difficult it was for our Army, Marines, the people who were on the ground. What they experienced was pure death, pure horror in a lot of cases. And when you have that experience, and we know that you don't have to be in the military to have that experience, because we have it in other ways in civilian life with some of the things that have gone on. So as a result of, even COVID created a lot of people with PTSD. I look at the nurses, the doctors, and what they experience being in helpless situations with patients. They couldn't do anything about it. And it's the same thing in war. This thing is so atrocious that it's hard to put in words what my comrades experienced over there. And then you come back to the States. And now you have to deal with the issues that exist here, because the people who aren't in the war are living their normal lives. And so they not had the experience you had, and people don't understand because maybe they're looking at some news thing talking about this. We used to laugh all the time because USA Today or whatever, that Stars and Stripes, I guess it was the name of that paper over there, would come out, "We're not in Cambodia." Well, I was in Cambodia last night doing a mission. And so, you know, we were like, you know, what is that all about? But what we need is, we need a little focus right now, because a lot of these veterans are hurting. And so what are we doing to help them? Programs like this. I just talked to one of my friends today about what our program is going to be like tomorrow. We're not just going to present to them the history of the Vietnam War. People have seen enough of that. We're going to reach out to those veterans that come out tomorrow and say, can you tell us your story? And that helps if people can. And I have heard, I don't know what it is about when we get into those environments. We had a situation when we had the Vietnam Memorial Wall come through. Wait, did you get to cover that? Up in
Covington.
No, we did it about 7 or 8 years ago. We did it in Rocky Mount.
Oh, yeah, but I know it came, but last year it came up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So I was there for that. Yes, sir.
And we had a fantastic response. But one of the greatest things that happened with that wall, and the reason why we might bring it back to Franklin County, is we had 2,000 kids from the school system come through. They use it as a teaching moment. And in one of those sessions, and many of the sessions, we had 400 or 500 kids sitting under that pavilion. And those kids were so respectful. They understood the moment. Quiet. We had veterans tell stories I had never heard before, because we opened it up and said, tell your story. And these guys opened up and started telling stories. And I mean, most of the time, if veterans are around each other, they're pretty okay with telling things, no matter what it is. But not in public. It's because of public scrutiny and how people portrayed that war, and in some cases made us look like we were, you know, killing babies and all that kind of stuff. So people were a little bit guarded about talking about what they had an experience. And not to mention too, the PTSD part of it is, there are some aspects of life you just don't want to talk about. It brings back emotions, chemistry in your body. You don't want that feeling, see. So when you can have somebody release that in an environment, and when we have our veterans together, a lot of the guys do, they lighten up, they can tell those stories, and it helps them to feel more comfortable. But when I have seen guys do that in public, and when they shared their stories with those 500 kids, and I saw those kids totally silent, I knew we're making a good connection here. And we're really teaching at that moment. So,
yeah. Is there anything else you want to add or say that you need to get out regarding the event Saturday?
The way you can help us really right now is, you know, this information is for you, the public. Share it. Put it on your Facebook. Did you hear about Rocky Mount having their event on Saturday? You'll hear a little bit about the program and hear some veterans talk about their experience, but then go have some fellowship afterwards and information about benefits if you haven't already received them, because these people say they can, and they're good. They're certified because they're trained to work with the VA to make these things happen. So if you can help us get the word out by sharing on whatever platforms you have, email, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you use, share it, talk about it with your friends at your church or whatever. I know tonight there'll be some prayer meetings. Okay, share it. Did you know about that? And we also know that locally, over at the VA, I think at 3 o'clock, Colonel Miller will once again be making presentations of these lapel pins to veterans, honoring, this is the 50th anniversary lapel pins. And we have some we will have some at our dinner as well, so for veterans who would like to have this. So share is the key word that I like to say. Help us share this with our community.
Awesome, sir. Well, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you.
Awesome.
There's
I'm going to get a shot of your lapel pin, too. So.